Hey guys, it's Nick with Book of Nick. Welcome to my review of Atlas Shrugged, Part 1. So Atlas Shrugged, the novel published by Ayn Rand in 1957, is not just a book. It is also a treatise on a philosophy of individual liberty, a philosophy that holds within it invaluable gems of insight into people and politics, gems that shine so bright, but somehow seem to have been hidden from us by today's culture. There's only one book in history that has outsold Atlas Shrugged, and that's the Bible. But while there stands an army of nonviolent freedom lovers who have metabolized the best of what Rand had to teach, there opposing them are an equally large and vicious army of detractors who seem to take this novel as a personal affront to their existence. It is the novel that some people love to hate, and others hate to love. But regardless of what side of the gun you stand on, you can't help but admit that as today's culture and political environment peers once again into the world of Atlas Shrugged in the form of its first movie release, what is staring back is itself. The world of Atlas Shrugged is a faded mirror reflecting the cultural values and political policies of an alternate but closely parallel universe. Atlas Shrugged is, and always has been, an alarm siren which is heard by everyone, but acknowledged by only a very few. Thus, the movie has a peculiar relevance today. The movie version of Atlas Shrugged was a low-budget, rushed independent film, but don't let that fool you. In short, the movie version of Atlas Shrugged is everything that it needed to be, and much, much more. What did it need to be? It needed to be true to the book. It is. It needed to underscore the essential philosophy that made the book so compelling. It does. Also, it needed to entice viewers new to the story to read the book, which Rand was quoted once as saying that that's all she had ever hoped for a movie version. It does. So what's the much more part? The much more is, for one, the superb acting of Taylor Schilling as Dagny Taggart and Grant Bowler as Henry Reardon. They're not big-name actors, and they don't need to be. The movie excludes the action shots and explosions that have kind of become the norm of Hollywood in lieu of these beautifully done close-up shots of the actors where you can almost see the thinking that's going on inside their heads. Schilling and Taylor are both as calm and confident as the industrial titans they portray. The supporting actors, however, notably Ed Gathegi as Eddie Willers and Jesu Garcia as Francisco d'Anconia, don't really stand out among the cast. I do look forward to parts 2 and 3, where maybe they'll get more of a chance to take center stage. I'm particularly intrigued by Garcia's character, since Francisco was probably my favorite character in the book. Graham Beckel as Ellis Wyatt was probably one of the stronger supporting actors. For a low-budget film, the cinematography is really stunning. The sets were fairly limited, but very well done. Nothing lavish, and I think it's better that way. Hank Reardon's office, for example, with the glass box overlooking the steel foundry, is so simply done, but it's that simplicity that adds to the depth of the Reardon character. After all, his office is just a symbol of his mind. My largest complaint about the movie is that it skips some scenes that were in the book that I would have loved to see. And I know that it's a big book and everything can't possibly be squeezed in, even in a 3-part movie, but there are a few key items I can think of that wouldn't really have added much to the time of the movie and were really essential to the story. For instance, there's a scene in both the book and the movie where the union head of the Taggart train conductors kind of barges into Dagny's office and tells her that he's not going to allow his members to work on the John Galt line because of all these supposed dangers. And Dagny tells him that she's going to ask for volunteers. And this union head fully expects no volunteers to show up. And in the book, this crowd of train conductors come into her office from all over the country to personally volunteer to run the train. So many of them that they have to draw from a hat. And this is one of the most touching scenes in the book that really should have been in the movie. Another notable scene that was shortened was the interaction with the philosopher Hugh Acton at his diner in Colorado. The movie scene cuts out the lovable, amused Acton giving Dagny hints about the secret of the motor and replaces him with this cynical, unshaven guy dressed for the psych ward. One of the best scenes, though, is the run of the John Galt line, the inaugural run, which contains one of the only CGI'd parts of the movie. I'm sure it's hard to portray a train ride as a climactic event, but the running of the John Galt line stirs those emotions about achievement and hard work, and I think is a fitting climax to Part 1. The musical score, while not an epic Haley concerto, is uplifting and showcased along with the beautiful scenes of the Rocky Mountains. So Atlas Shrugged is an intellectual film, which is something so rare these days that some people might not really know what to make of it. It is cheaply produced, but I honestly think that a big budget film would have only produced bigger feathers on the same peacock. It is a brain tickler that will delight fans of the book and awe the newcomers. And while fans of the book might be left wanting for a little more substance, a little more scenes, they did get a film that highlights the philosophy of individual rights and the hazards of gunpoint altruism. Though we'll never know for sure, I believe that Ayn Rand herself would have loved to see this movie. Hope you get a chance to see it. If you do, please let me know in the comments section how you liked it. And as always, guys, thank you so much.